Hi, teacher friends. So I'm hoping to make this video as short as possible. This is a little demonstration of once you have your Google Classroom set up, how you can set up your week's worth of topics. At least this is what I did, and I by no means am an expert. So within your Google Classroom, you would go to Classwork. And right now, I already have a topic added, but the way I did that was I said create, and then I chose topic. Um, Almost everything that I'm about to do is editable, meaning like if I don't like the name or the attachment or whatever, I can go back and fix it later. So if you're just getting started, just throw something down. I'll warn you when there's something that can't be fixed without deleting it. All right, so within this topic, it doesn't really matter. We can always add the things back into the topic, but next I'm going to create my assignments and my materials for the week. So the big difference between assignments and materials on Google Classroom is that if you are asking the child to submit something to you, either a Google Doc, Google Slide, something to that effect, or if you're having it automatically grade, like through Quizziz, those should all be assignments. Those are things that they're turning into you and you're getting points for it in general. If it's just an attachment of a video or a PDF of like paper and pencil homework, things that they are not actually turning into you via the Google Classroom, that's called a material. So when I set up my week, I like to put it in order, but again, you can change the order later. So I'm going to put the tracker right at the top. I'm going to say create an assignment, and I do have to kind of go through and name it something that makes sense, but again, you can change this later. I'll say week 1 tracker. I'll put instructions later because I don't want to make this video forever. So everything's saved in my Google Drive. That is the most efficient way for you to pull something up. Typically, you would have just like created something and it would have been like right up here because this is recent things. Of course, I created mine forever ago, so I got to go find it. It's right there. I could have just searched here. That would have been smarter. So I'm going to insert that into my assignment. But because this is a document that I'm giving to each child to fill out, they want to have their own copy. So make sure you choose the make copy for each student. So this is one of the things that can't be undone without deleting the whole assignment. If I make a copy and I publish this assignment and it goes out to my Google Classroom, every kid is given a copy of this into their Google Drive. And if I show up tomorrow and I'm like, oh snap, I screwed it up and I have to fix something on the Google Slides. If I fix my template that's in my drive, that's great, but it doesn't change anything from theirs. So I would have to delete this whole assignment and reassign them a new one. So it is very important that before you send this out to each of the children, it looks like what you want it to look like and you don't make any adjustments. So because of that, I'm actually going to not assign it. I'm going to schedule it. I'll show you that in a minute. I don't know how many points I'm going to make this worth yet, so I'm going to leave that 100 for now, even though that's way too many. I'm going to make it do Friday at the end of the week, and I'm going to put it in the appropriate topic, and I'm not going to use a rubric. You know what? That's kind of crazy. I don't want to confuse anybody later. Let's make 5 points just for now. So instead of clicking assign, I'm going to schedule it. You can also save it as a draft if you're like, I just don't know what I want to do yet. So I would like this to go out, let's just make everything go out Monday morning at 8. So you'll notice it's kind of gray. That indicates that it's not actually posted yet. So it's either because it's a draft or because it's scheduled. So the next thing I'm going to show you how to attach, this would be, in my case, materials. So I'm going to ask the kids during their week to watch a video, take notes, go very old school. Here's a worksheet. I want you to practice some questions, and here's the answer key. So this for me is 1.3 part 1 algebraic expressions. I will fill out the description later because I don't want to bore you. But this is one of the items that you can't fix later. So when I do my attachments, I want to put them in an order that I like because once the attachments are on, you can't adjust the order unless you delete things. So I like to put the attachments in order in which like the children would use them. So the first thing they might do is pull up, let's see, their notes page because they would have to print off their notes page, right? So of course mine's hidden. Let me go find it. One of the Um, Feedback pieces I did receive from children is that they want to make sure all of the attachments are their own thing. So like I'm notorious for putting one file together that is like the notes and the practice and something else because that makes sense for me. But the children said that doesn't make sense for them. They would prefer to have everything kind of separate. So the next thing I'm going to add is my YouTube video. I save all my videos to YouTube. If you save them somewhere else, you can obviously add them here. And I don't have it pulled up, so I'll just search for it. Bruzo Math 1.3 Part 1. I don't know the official title, but this should do it. Yeah, there we go. So they got the notes to take notes on. They have their video to watch. The next thing I would add is I like to give them the printed out, the PDF of the slides from my video. This is a teacher personal choice. Some teachers don't like doing this because essentially it encourages them not to take their own notes, but I do teach the team taught algebra 2, and for a lot of our children, note taking is not their strongest skill, so got to remember that. All right, I am looking for slides of 1.3 Part 1. There we go. You can attach more than one thing at a time, but it'd have to be in the same folder, in the right order, which it's not for me. Then, let's see, I need to attach their homework. Like I said, if I was a smart lady, it would all be popping up right here at the beginning, but I'm not. So I saved that in practice. So I believe I got smart and I have the worksheet, and you know what? The next thing I'm going to attach is right next to it, the answer key. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And notice everything besides the YouTube video, these are PDF files. That is very important that everything's a PDF file. So notice here I can't drag and move these. So if this is not the order I want, then I'm kind of in trouble. So I'd have to like delete, re-add. It's a total pain. So make sure you get them in the right order. So again, I do want to put it in the appropriate topic, but I can move it later if I forgot. This is going out to all students. By the way, for our team taught teachers, Mrs. Meyer and I do this all the time where if it's I don't have any students yet, but if it's an assignment and we're modifying it for some kids and not others, we will post both assignments, but we'll check and uncheck kids appropriately. And that's a great way to differentiate through your assignments. So I don't want to post it yet. I want to schedule it. We'll go the same. So these poor children, if they get notifications on their phone, they're going to get like a gazillion dings on their phone Monday morning from all their teachers. So, oh well. So right now, I already don't like the order it's in. I want the weekly tracker right up at the top of it. So I'll adjust this later as well. I'm going to be attaching a whole bunch of other stuff in a minute. And I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to pause the video and then not bore you with the video by attaching everything in front of you. But the next type of thing I want to show you how to attach would be a Quizziz. And that's actually the next thing in my to-do list. So I would have already found a Quizziz that I liked. And if you haven't played with Quizziz recently, they've made a lot of updates. So check those out. There's also I know I'm deviating from the topic here, but if you edit your Quizziz question, or you can make your own, you notice these guys off to the side. Oops, I didn't want to do that. It's an equation editor, and it's super easy to use, and it looks beautiful. It is just awesome. So I stole this from a different teacher where they just did like a snippet of the picture of a problem from something else, which also works. But we are so good at typing that I was so happy when I found that. Okay, anywho, I have this Quizziz. I'm going to assign it as homework. Oh, but I just remembered something. Timeout. So I just made that Google Classroom, so it wasn't in my quizzes yet. So all I had to do was click Update Google Classroom because it's connected to our Google Classroom. So anywho, now we're there. So I am, this looks like some of your students are missing. Yes, I don't have any students. So at some point when I actually get students, we're going to have to get them all in here, but that's okay. So one thing I had to do real quick was I had to have a student. So I made Logan join my class. And it on where are we at? On Quizziz, I had to resend invites. So this is something you would have to do like the first couple days of school to make sure kids are all set up. So warning on that one. Um, so he would join with his Google like all your students would. Yes, my children belong to all of my things. And it does ask for a parent's email. So this is a little annoying because now I'm going to get a lot of things saying Logan is late on all of his work, but that's okay. Okay, so let's get out of Logan's stuff. You don't need to see that business. So here we go. I'm going to hit update Google Classroom, save. Okay, so now I need to go back and find that. I think it was in my library. I'm still a little unsure about the best way to save collections versus library, but whatever, we'll figure that out. All right, so back to this quiz. Now I need to assign it. So this is where you gotta be a little careful. Some of this you can fix later, and it's possible it's just a pain in the butt. So you should complete this quiz by, and I'm just gonna make everything do, oh snap. All right, so this is a problem for me right now. I'm jumping the gun a little bit. It won't let me assign out till August 28th, so I'll have to come back and fix this at another time, which is fine. Um, but I am gonna make it due by like, I don't know, 9 p.m. This can be fixed on Google Classroom, so don't panic about this. The problem is this shuts the quizzes down if you don't have it set out. So typically what I like to do is make this date like way into the future, because there's always that one kid who just never quite got around to doing their quizzes on time. So if you don't want it to shut down on quizzes and lock them out, you have to make this into the future. So mental note for me, I got to come back and fix this. Don't hit continue yet because you need to do all this stuff. So we're going to assign it to the appropriate class. And then I do like to give it a name, algebraic expressions quiz. This is what shows up on Google Classroom, and I do like to schedule it. I do not want it to start now. And again, this is kind of stupid because it doesn't let me go out, so I'll just have it start now. Whatever. Okay. It's just Logan getting all my things, right? Now there's a warning, don't forget to assign it. Yes, we will get to that. So down here, personal choice. How many attempts do you want them to have? Because this is literally the first quizzes I'm going to have them do, I'm going to give them 2 attempts because there's always a kid who screws it up. But as far as accuracy, you are giving them 2 attempts, so keep that in mind. Show answers. I'm going to keep that off because I have them having 2 attempts, also cheating. Show answers post game. Again, I'm going to keep that off. But you are welcome to turn that on if that works for you. Now, the timer is a problem for some kids. There's like a progress bar at the top of the question, and even if it's like 4 minutes, they just see that little progress bar going down and it really bothers them. So you might consider turning the timer off. I'm not going to. We'll see if that was a bad choice later. Shuffling questions, you can. This particular quiz doesn't really build on like rigor, so I'm going to go ahead and let it shuffle. And then answer options shuffling, that's fine. This does get a little weird. If things are called like A, B, C, D, it's a little confusing. So just be careful. Because if they shuffle A, B, C, D, I had a quizzes once where like the question was a snippet in the question itself and it had choice A, B, C, D. And then down in the multiple choice options, they shuffled those. So that was not a very nice thing to do to children. Okay, redemption question. I love keeping this turned on because they get to the end, and if they have a couple of wrong ones, they'll let them try another one. Like, I don't know. It's just a good feeling. I always keep these things on. I like them. Okay, so this is not good for me because it doesn't have the right due date, but that's okay. We'll keep it. So here it does say deadline 9 August 21st. So later on, I could come back and edit this. There'll be like a little clock symbol. It'll look just like this, but on a different screen. And I'll say edit, and I'll change the cutoff date for quizzes. So food for thought for later. All right, so it's there. You'll notice if I do go to back to my classroom, here it is. Notice it's darker because it's assigning right now. I'm going to move it down into the right topic. And then also here is where you could edit and you can change the Google Classroom due date because remember I actually wanted it due here. I'm just going to take the time off. I'll probably edit all this later. That's okay. I leave it as 100 points for now just because I never remember how many points it is, and you can change this as you're importing grades later on. So I'm going to save that and we're good. So one thing you might consider back here in the description instructions is you might want to mention like make sure you've joined my Quizziz classroom first and you get 2 attempts. So again, up to you. So we have attached an actual assignment, we've attached some materials, and we've attached a Quizziz. What else is there? Oh, a Google form quiz. So again, there's some other things that I need to update here, but I'll fix that later. I need to create, this is a Google Forms quiz, which will have score importing, so it's called an assignment. And I think I called it 1.4 Part 1 Solving Linear Equations Quiz. Now, I'm going to come back and fix this later. I have 2 options for this quiz, and I've already made the Google Forms quiz. So that's what's key, guys. Everything is already made before you get to this step. I have a few options for my quiz. Let's see, what do I call it? 1.4 Solving Linear. Whoops, not that. Let's see. It's going to pop up 1,000 things now. All right, so here's one of them. There's another one somewhere down here where it's data validation. It's a totally different topic, but data validation is a cool option for quizzes that doesn't allow the kid to move on until they get the right answer. I'm not sure which one I want to use, and this is still a work in progress for me. So for now, I'm just going to select this one. Again, I'll put in instructions later, but this is what's key here. Notice when I added here, or I'll back up a second. There's grade importing turned on. Locked mode on Chromebooks is an option that doesn't allow them to exit like the screen they're on. You know, for math, I don't know how important that is because if you have a phone next to you, loaded up with photo math, like you're, I don't know. So it's up to you whether you turn on the locked mode on Chromebooks. It does, whoops, it does give you the child a sense of importance, and if that's what you're looking for, then go ahead and put locked mode on. I have no idea how many questions is on this. I'm going to leave it as 100 for now. I'm going to put the due date on like everything else. And it does go into that topic, but I can move that later like I did with the quizzes. I'll probably have a modified version of something, so later on I'll have to come back and uncheck the kids that are getting the modified version, and I'm going to schedule. Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is not in the right spot for me, so I'm just going to move it down. It's just a personal preference, and you'll see on another video I'm making, it doesn't really matter because your kids are not navigating through the screen anyways. So I am going to pause the video for a moment. Okay, that was not the pause I was looking for. Real quick, before I pause the video and upload everything else, one thing I wanted to point out to you about the forms quiz, when you create, there's an option to create a quiz assignment versus an assignment, and this messes with teachers because this seems logical, right? This would be like if you're just making up an assignment on the fly, like you don't have a Google Forms quiz that already exists. Because we already had one, we use this. The reason I do it that way is because otherwise you don't get the grade importing, which is an amazing feature. So make sure you create your quiz first and then call it an assignment, not a quiz assignment, contrary to logic. All right, now I'm going to pause the video and upload everything else I needed. Okay, so through the art of me pausing my video, I just got everything uploaded that I'm going to need for the rest of creating my hyperlinks on the next video. And one thing I'll point out to you is I made another topic for week 2, and I'm putting in a materials tab for an option for children to work ahead because that was a big complaint I had from kids back in e-learning. There was quite a few students who, you know, were bored at home and they knew that I was an organized enough teacher to give them work ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and give that as a little carrot to them. I know this video feels like it's gone on and on and on forever, and this is an insurmountable task. Um, it goes quicker. A couple things I've learned, which apparently I haven't learned enough because I haven't done them yet, but all the things that I want to attach in the upcoming classroom week, it would be very smart if you just put everything in a temporary folder like in the main level of your drive. And like I said, if you've just edited something or created something, it literally will be at that screen right at the beginning when you pop up an attachment. Um, Due dates are really, really important because it'll show up on the child's Google Calendar. And one other thing before we leave this video, notice in my stream, all I have is some announcements. And this is an old one, so I will delete that one. um, there's no assignments in here. You can turn that feature on and off over here in the settings. I strongly suggest you hide notifications for classwork, otherwise your kids are going to have a very large stream that's going to frustrate them. Um, we all know about that meets link. And then this is a new thing for Google Classroom. I haven't played with this yet about grade calculation. I don't think I'm going to use it, and I surely don't want to have the kids confused, so I'm turning off their show overall grade to students. But it is something that, maybe in the future we could take a peek at. So that's how you can get everything ready in your Google Classroom. I'm going to record another video that shows why we put all that work in, because then we're going to put some really cool hyperlinks into a hyperdoc that will take the kids right to the exact post they need so they don't have to navigate your classroom anymore. All right, questions, you bring them on.